Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and happy Boxing Day. Hope you enjoy boxing each other. And let's start off with Bryansk for the change. So this is the Bryansk region, north of Ukraine, and there is a Ukrainian DRG, or they call it recon, or they call it sabotage. uh, in my world we call them commandos, basically breaking into they actually entered Russian territory attempting to do sabotage missions. And this group actually have machine guns. They are dressed in military fatigue, and they have bombs, up to 40 kilogram of explosive. However, they got discovered and they got all eliminated by the uh, Russian side security forces. And the FSB, their secret service, basically revealed all the photos, which is too brutal for YouTube to show. And this is actually pretty significant in the sense that uh, this is clear evidence that the Ukrainians are attacking into Russian territory itself. The exact location of this intrusion is unclear. They say that it's within the Bryansk region, and I'm not exactly sure where they actually encounter all these forces. This is also not the first one, as far as I understand, but this is actually the first very clear one where an entire squad of Ukrainian soldiers got taken out with their corpse, and their weapons and everything is just there. So this is significant in that sense. And the Ukrainians also launched another drone attack in Saratov region at the Engel's Airbase. So this, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, they said that their air defense shot down a drone flying at low altitude towards the military airbase, and the fall of this wreckage reportedly killed 3 Russian soldiers. However, footages of security cameras around the town, around the city, shows that the explosion is actually quite huge. So the to say that 3 Russian soldiers were killed but no aircraft were damaged, and then the explosion was really massive, only suggests that the drone actually hits its target rather than getting shot down. Even if they shoot it down, it still reaches its target, because 3 Russian soldiers at the airfield were injured. Basically, the drone actually hits the airfield, so basically it hits its target. So let's move on away from here. So basically, the drone strike was successful. It's just a bit, it's amazing just how far the drone managed to fly. Most likely it's from the Kharkiv region, because unlikely they will fly over the front line. So over Kharkiv region, through Belgorod, and all the way to Saratov at low level. This also suggests that no air defense systems are going to perfectly protect your airspace, especially given Russia have one of the world's best air defense systems. Is still won't be enough to cover all the border regions that they have, which actually give a lot of good, at least some optimism, for any NATO side, or potential enemies of Russia, that in the war with Russia you can actually do infiltrate into Russia somehow. Whether you can come out alive is another story altogether. Moving on to the southern front, we have nothing at the southern front. Over at the Zaporizhia line, we have fighting reported over at Novosibirsk, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. This is actually close to Velika Novosibirsk, at the very end of the Zaporizhia line around here. And over at the Donetsk front, this is Donetsk Oblast, and at the Donetsk front, we have quite a lot of actions, with the Russians attacking Ukrainian positions at Novodonetsk, Voleda, and Volodymyrivka. However, this comes also, these are reported today. These are 26th December information, which is why this is actually contradicts what I'm going to say now, which is on the 25th, the Ukrainians actually attacked at Volodymyrivka and at Palivka. So because the report today comes a bit late, which is why the Russian reports for today appeared, and then that actually have some this is actually put as 26. So the Ukrainians actually attack these two locations. However, it didn't seem that they actually contacted with the Russian forces, because the Russian Defense Ministry said they were neutralized by artillery, whereas the Russian sides attack. They say that by artillery fire and active actions of Russian forces. So now very vague language. So maybe this is a counter attack against the Ukrainian forces that attacked the day before. Volgonzo continues to report fighting over at Novomykhailivka, and at Marinka, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry said that the Russians attacked. Fighting is also reported at Krasnohorivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Over at the Pisky region, no one seems to care about this region except for Volgonzo, and they continue to report fighting over at Nevelsky, Pervomansky, as well as Vodian. They do concede that the progress over at Nevelsky is limited. They did not, the Russians did not make much progress around the front line here. Over at the Avdiivka region, at the northeast of Avdiivka, there's fighting reported at Kayamka, according to Volgonzo, and there's also fighting reported at the Krasnohorivka, that is actually on the north, that is actually north of Avdiivka. So the language they use is a bit vague, so you can take this with a pinch of salt, because they say that the Russians try to do the same at Pervomansky Vodian from the side of Opaine to Krasnohorivka and in the area of Kamenka, which is actually Kamenka and Krasnohorivka here over here. So very vague language. Maybe there's an attack, maybe it's just a skirmish, who knows. But the Volgonzo is the only one that is reporting about the fighting around the Pisky and Avdiivka region. They also reported fighting at Alexandropil, according to Volgonzo, and moving on from the New York, because the New York front, there really isn't anything over here. There's fighting reported at near Mayosk, at the very tip, southern tip of the Bakhmut front. Most likely, this is actually an attack towards Druzhba, as we already reported previously. With the Russians capturing Mayosk, they are moving towards Druzhba, towards the west. And however, it's reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry as fighting at Mayosk. There is no aircraft shot down after so many aircraft getting shot down all over the place over the past 3-4 days. However, there is a significant missile strike at Kramatorsk, where two HIMARS systems are reportedly destroyed, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. So, as usual, most pro-Ukrainian viewers and fans, for those that watch it like a football, they don't really believe that the HIMARS can be destroyed. So, most likely these are all protected by the Iron Curtain, or because they adopted this from the USSR. So perhaps they'll be fine. At Kudyomivka, all the way south of Bakhmut, there is fighting reported near Kudyomivka. Exact location is unclear. And over at Andriivka, there is according to Suryak maps, the Russians managed to make some progress and actually have some buffer zone around Andriivka. So they managed to push outwards of Andriivka, and they're now trying to advance towards Klishchiivka, which is actually in the north. So they are probably trying to flank the settlement of Klishchiivka from the south. So they are actually moving probably along this road. They're trying to capture this road and moving to the south. But they are likely going to face a lot of problems with forests, because Ukrainians like to hide in the forest, and they do very good defensive operation while they are there. However, there is also fighting reported at Klishchiivka, according to Volgonzo. The attack here is actually by the Wagner private military contractors. Moving on to Opaine. Based on the trend of the war and the kind of reporting that we are receiving, Two of the settlements is definitely under Russian control, and it's hard to be disputed now. Ivangrad it has been disputed by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry of its capture since 12th of October. Is likely to be invalidated by now because we haven't seen fighting being reported at Ivangrad for so long that I can't even remember for how long, perhaps even a month. So, and then for Orekdivka, similarly, on the 18th of October, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that they repelled attack around the region of Orekdivka. However, the front line have since moved so far away, and we haven't seen anything about Orekdivka, so this is also invalidated. Because previously this is a question mark, we are not sure, and as such the Ukrainian front line, the Ukrainian version of the map is now pushed all the way westward away from this region. So the front line is now a bit more cleaner. It's a lot more like the Russian version of the map, because this is two mapping. In case you are new, this is the Ukrainian perspective, this is the Russian perspective, or the pro-Ukrainian, pro-Russian perspective, which is why this is important to report. So the front line have moved more akin to what the Russians are reporting, or the pro-Russian side is reporting. However, at Opine, the Ukrainians are continuing their counter-offensive, and are reported by SITREP maps. They say that they have some progress, capturing some positions in Opine. The actual front line remains more or less the same as what we see here. And moving to the Bakhmut front, we do not have much details. We just have a report from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry saying that there is fighting at Bakhmut. The only other detail that we have is from SITREP maps that there is fighting in the northeastern part of Bakhmut, in the forest region here. So in the forest region here, there is fighting. There's a Russian push in this direction. Pihorodne is finally back in the picture, with the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting over at Pihorodne, and over at Soledar region, at Bakhmutske. So the Ukrainian Defense Ministry say that there is fighting at Bakhmutske. According to pro-Russian sources, which is duplicated or aggregated by AZ military, they reported that the Wagner private military contractors are now attacking Soledar from Bakhmutske. They have advanced and managed to capture this school here, and there's a high chance that they did not just capture this school, but actually perhaps even capture these settlements, because to say that they captured the school might suggest that they actually have some kind of security now around the school. Because if the Ukrainians are still along the houses here and they're firing at the school, I don't think you really consider that as capture. So there is it looks like the fighting at Bakhmutske is going to draw to a close pretty soon, if the Ukrainians are not going to send in more reinforcement to hold the rest of the settlement. And moving on to Soledar. Soledar, there's fighting reported at Soledar. No other details there. Yakovlivka continue to be featured in the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's report, and I continue to mark it as to the west. The fighting is to the west rather than at Yakovlivka itself. The word they use is in the area of. So this area of to me is actually to the west. At Vasily, there is fighting again. Previously we have reported this. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, the Russians continue to push in this direction. At Vasily, Rozdolivka, we do not have any report of fighting, but we do see pro-Russian sources saying that the fighting here is the fiercest among all the fighting around the region here. So let's see if we have any more news about Rozdolivka in the coming days. Around the Sivas front, there is actually no fighting being reported. Very quiet. So the only one is at Vasily and the south. Over at the Crimea front, we have shelling reported at Toske. This is reported today, and yesterday it was reported to be at Terni. The significant thing about the one at Terni is that flamethrower system, the TOS-1A, is reportedly used. So as usual, the appearance of the flamethrower or the multiple launch rocket system that fires short range high temperature explosive. This MRIS appearance suggests that the Ukrainian artillery system here might actually be down or very limited, because these systems don't really fire very far. So for them to be around might suggest that the Ukrainian artillery here are unable to do counter artillery operations, and there might not be any heavy armored vehicles that can be supporting the defenses to do a counter-offensive to take out all these vehicles. So the usage of such vehicles do suggest some kind of momentum the going along with the Russian side. So we should continue to watch this area, because fighting at Terni is not normal as far as I can concern. To me, as far as I am concerned, this is not a good look for the Ukrainian side. Especially, when we draw the front line so far away, to have shelling at Terni is actually quite scary. The distance between the front line I have marked is around 10 to 12 kilometers. So something to note. At Shevno-Popivka, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry continued to report the Russians are counter-attacking in this region. They're still holding the defenses here. And Nevsky now is being reportedly attacked by the Russian side, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So this penetration continues to go through. So with Yampolivka, Terni getting attacked with Nevsky, the Ukrainian forces at or near Shevno-Popivka might be in the bulge, or might be in the salient. So this should be quite concerning, if you ask me. The fighting is reported at Ploshonka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Shelling is at Makievka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry in its report today. And further up to the Sviatove front, there is fighting reported at Stemakivka, with the Russians reported today that recon forces of the Ukrainian side was contacted near Stemakivka. So there is some kind of a counter-offensive, it seems. A bet might be a small one. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting at Novoselivsky, and Berestove, the Russians Defense Ministry reported that they are on the offensive, eliminating some of its enemy at Berestove, Tabaivka, as well as at Kaislivka. And today they continue to report that they are attacking Kaislivka with a so-called concentrated fire attack launched at a concentration of Ukrainian forces near Kaislivka. So the Russians continue to be on the offensive over at the northern part, or perhaps you can call this the Kupiansk front. And the War Gonzo repeated what we reported yesterday, that there is an attack on Liman Prshi yesterday, which was previously reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, which is why I say that sometimes War Gonzo's report does seems to be just reporting what the Ukrainians say. So which is why reports from War Gonzo, we do have to take it with a pinch of salt. So anyway, that's all from the report, and do press the subscribe button. This is the DPA War channel. This is different from the main channel, so do press the subscribe button, support this channel where we will focus all the war reporting in this channel. Press the like button, and happy Boxing Day. May you not be boxed in the eyes, and I'll see you in the next update.